Trevor Mower Mechanic. Today I've got another little project we're going to start doing. Pretty rough one. Came in with a few issues. Things just need to be fixed on it. I'm just going to give you a bit of a look at that now. So what we've got a little Victor mower here. Came in pretty rough looking. Now we're missing behind this, on this bar here, missing the clips from this end and down here further, missing tension spring out of here. The handle's pretty rough, it's broken off up there, so we've got to put another handle on it. Motor is just one of those Honda knockoff motors, Honda clone engines, 4 horsepower I believe. The body's in pretty good nick on this one. That's a bit of a bonus. But anyway guys, we're going to start tearing the motor down. I've already drained the oil out of it, so let's hook into that. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the starter, 3 8mm bolts. Was 3. Okay. Over there. No, there's actually 4. Another one here. Okay, starter off. Just inspect the cord, pull cord here, just to make sure that it's okay. Clean that up. Put some lube down in here. I always put lube in around the spring, just to make it easier. Okay, so now we'll take the air filter off. There's the air filter itself. Not too bad. Not real dirty. Not like some of them, covered in all sorts of crap. A little bit of dust in it. That'll clean up. There we go. Not too bad at all. Put that aside. So now we'll remove the air filter housing and the carburetor off. Air filter housing, it's off. Just sit that over here to the side. Now, carburetor, pretty grubby. We'll have a look here and see what we got. Okay, so when you're taking the carburetor off one of these Honda motors, it's pretty simple. Push that one out. It's got a little spring there. Got a spring here. That all comes out. Sit that all aside. Now the fuel line's down in there, so we're going to take that off. Right, disconnect the fuel line. And sometimes you just got to put a pair of pliers on this one. Here. Sometimes they'll just pop straight out. There we go. That's the little push rod. And there we have it. That's the carburetor. Whoop. Water in it coming out of that, so it's been sitting out in the weather. So we can do that one. Clean it all up. Sit those bits to the side. Now, I've already got this motor unhooked on the base, just sitting there, because I'm putting this motor onto this base. It is not the motor that was with the mower. So now we're going to go ahead and take the cowling all off. One more. And here. So now guys, we're ready to pull the top off. See what surprises right underneath. Here we go. Top's off. Okay. So now what we do, we go and take the fuel tank off. Okay, so now we've got one bolt here. I want to do this one. Take that one out of there. Take the fuel tank out, it's off. Now the next thing I always like to do, I always take the coil off, take the ignition coil off. As you can see, the flywheel's pretty rusted up. So what I do, I'll clean all this up, all the magnets and everything. Clean the end of the coil. We'll get that off now. So we'll take the ignition coil, 2 bolts. There. Unhook our kill wire, which is right here. It's a kill wire. Take it on off there. So there's the coil. And what I like to do is clean all the rust off here. I even take a bit off here just to make sure it's grounding properly. So that's a part of what I do it on. Now, apart from that, like I said, I'll drain the oil. We'll take this cover off here. And as you can see, that there's all pretty rusted up. Pretty dirty, rusted it pretty well, but it does move. Everything here does move, so it's doing what it should do. We'll free all that up, clean all this rust and that off it, free it all up. Let's say clean the flywheel on it. We'll just give it a really good clean up, and then we'll put some silver paint over all the alloy. Just tidy it all up, and it'll go back onto this base when we get this base done. So that's virtually the tear down. That's about all I do when I tear them down. Sometimes I'll have a look at the valves, but this motor did fire up. It didn't sound too bad. So I'm not going to worry too much on that, but it's just been general now, it's general tidy up. Okay, so all this we've got
oil
and crap all over it.
Bit of paint on it,
So we're
paint
just
it
going
all
to
up.
tidy.
Looks a bit different to what it did before. Okay, so now we're going to install the ignition coil back onto here, and I'll show you how we do that. I've cleaned the end of the coil. Now a lot of guys say, don't worry about it, you know, leave the rust not there. But I always do them, and I've never had an issue where the engines have been hard to start. So I do it. Some guys believe that you don't have to, but that's just my way of doing things. So you've got to have an air gap between the end of your coil and the flywheel. That's where a business card comes in handy. Slip that in there, put the coil on. Put your bolts in. Put your bolts in, tighten it down. A little bit quick with the drill, but we'll do it with the ratchet. Okay, so now your coil's up against tight up against there. Tighten these down nice and tight. You don't have to overdo it, just so they're nice and tight. Okay, there's our kill wire here. We're just going to put that back onto there, just like so. Take our cardboard out, and there you go. Coil's on with the correct air gap in here. So that's all done and set. So now the next thing is we're going to move on to the carburetor. We're going to do a carburetor clean, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. So I'll move this out of the road for now. Bring this one over here. Now, this is my carburetor table. It's got a little tub underneath here. Top here with some holes all in it for drainage. And I just use that to, when I'm stripping carburetors. So, like we said, it's a Honda style carburetor. So what we're going to do is take some carb cleaner. I'm just going to use this. The outside bit go over. Because you don't want any of that rubbish there going on inside of the carb. So we'll take some air. We'll just blow that all down. Oop. That way we just get rid of all the excess that's on the outside. Take our 10mm spinner, undo the bowl nut. Just like so. Yeah, there's probably going to be a bit of fuel or something inside this. And there we go. Okay. A lot of that is caused by old F&R fuel. Been sitting for a long time, fuel's gone off. It's got a real foul smell to it, so definitely know the fuel's gone off. Now we've got to get this little pin out of in here. So we'll take a pair of pliers, it's probably stuck. There we go, it wasn't too bad. Came out. A little roll pin. There's our float and needle, pretty gummed up there. Okay, so now down in here, we've got a jet. In there we've got to get out. And we've got another little stuff all over here. All this here is all gummed up. That's all from Star Fuel. So we need to clean that off. Yeah, this one's not going to come undone, and we need to get that out. No. So we're going to have to soak that one and probably try and... You've got one of these Honda Carbies that is playing hard to start, running rough. This here is your problem. I don't know where you can see it, but all in around here everywhere, there's a lot of small holes in there. Now they block up and don't let the fuel through. So we're just going to take some carb cleaner here. This is just a generic one, carb clean. Put that through there, and we're just going to spray some of this in there. Just slide out a bit. Okay, so we're just going to take a carb cleaner and spray it through. A lot of these holes are blocked, so what you've got to do, you need yourself a very fine wire, which I've got a set of these gas fitters cleaners here, and on here there's a very fine wire somewhere in amongst all this. At least I thought there was. Okay, so we'll take our wire and we'll run it down through the middle of it, just like so. And just make sure there's nothing in there. There should be now all around the outside here there's some very tiny, small holes. That wire's going to be too thick there. Here's the other one. A real fine wire is what you need. So now we'll take this one here and we go around these holes. They're pretty blocked up on this one. All that old Star Fuel. So we've just got to get through each one like this. Each one of these little tiny holes here. Make sure they're all open. They're very fine. And this is 99% of the time with your Honda engines when they're playing up, hard starting or surging or anything. That's because of this. So now we make sure they're all unblocked. Give it a good flush out with some carb cleaner. So that's shooting out really well there now. So that one's clean. We know that's clean, so we're just going to sit to the side here. Let's sit on this bit of cloth there. Now, there's the other little one that I'm going to put back in it. Fairly small. Once again, put some carb cleaner through it. You know, that one's clean. We'll take some air and we'll blow those out. We'll just blow them out with a little bit of air. Okay, so we know they're clean now. We'll set them aside. Now float. All this tarnish here and stuff here. Sometimes it'll come off. Other times it won't. You'll get them sometimes where it's really gone really coarse on it, and they're generally too far gone at that point. Just take that needle out. There's the little needle. There's a spring on it. Do not lose that spring. You'll be in big trouble if you do that. So clean that up. Put some carb clean on that. Just rub it between your fingers and try and get any sticky stuff that's on there of it. Okay, let's clean that up. So now we'll just pop that back into the float. And I've dropped that down here. Okay, so there we go. We'll just give that another rinse off. Clean that off there a bit more. Anyway, we're just going to take some air and we'll clean that up. In a minute, we'll blow that down just before we go and put it all back together. Now, the carburetor body itself. So we've got to go through here, through there. We've got another hole here to do. And especially one there and one there. So what we'll take a carb cleaner, we'll just put it into these areas. So they're shooting out there. Go in that one. Get in that one. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just take a fine wire and gently put it in there. Just gently, just move backwards and forwards gently. Don't go forcing it. Okay. There we go, so we've got that one coming through there. There. Down through there. Okay, so now we'll just get it under the squirt out. So now we know the fuel's going through that okay. We need to clean this off a bit. You can take a little bit of fine sandpaper and do that if you wanted to, just to clean it up, just to take the stickiness off it. Just going to hit that with some air now, blow it all out. So there we go, we've cleaned that all out. So there's the carburetor, we've cleaned it up. So now we're just going to, I'm going to take a little bit of fine sandpaper there and just tidy that up. Sometimes I'll use a wire wheel. Just a little bit of wet and dry sandpaper. Just move a bit of the tarnish off it. So there we go, we'll just flush that again now. Okay, so there we go, that's done. So now we can start reassembling it, put our float back in. And a little roll pin. Good too. A little roll pin here. Now, just with this little roll pin, you know, sometimes they'll only go in one way. This one's going to be cantankerous, not go the way we want it to go. So we'll turn it around. Come from this side. So there we go. Okay. So this one here goes in, flange side up. This little one here goes in on top. And we'll just tighten it down. We don't over tighten them. That doesn't feel right. Now, if you get to the point like this and it don't feel right, don't keep forcing it. Take it back out. But it's going now. Alright, so that's down there. Now, we've got our dirty bowl. Okay guys, back to this engine here. We've got it all painted up, cleaned and painted. Come up pretty good. Still got a few little bits to do, but I'll give you a look at it. All the top's been done, so we've still got to put the rest of the air filter, fuel tank, and hook up our throttle cable when it goes back on before we put the plate back on. But other than that, it's cleaned up pretty well. Okay guys, we've completed the little mower. Come up pretty well actually. Ended up doing the base red instead of the black. But anyway, I'll give you a look at it. All cleaned up under there. Starts and runs okay. I'll just fire it up for you. So there we have it. Another one completed. Okay guys, well thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and share our videos. We'll see you on the next one.